Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. I wanted to first explain that I am so sorry for kind of dipping out on you guys and just leaving you hanging. I had promised several weeks ago that I was going to be doing this video, which is talking about our homeschool schedule. And then I kind of had some life circumstances come into play. I had to move. And it was not foreseen, it was not planned, it was an emergency move. We had some issues with habitability in our apartment. And, I wasn't crazy about moving in the middle of a pandemic, and I really tried to not have to do that. But it just became unavoidable. Our apartment really was not livable. We did not have heat or hot water. We were in the middle of a blizzard. And this went on for about 6 weeks that these issues were not getting repaired. We also had a leak that was not getting repaired, and that was leaking into a light in the hallway. So I was constantly afraid of fire. And our oven, we did not have a working oven, and we didn't have a working oven for quite some time, for several months. So none of these things were being repaired, and the situation was gradually getting worse and worse. When we got to no heat and no hot water, that was the final straw for me. I tried to work as much as I could with the landlord and the primary leaseholder to get these things fixed so that I didn't have to move, and there just was no movement. There was no common ground. They were not going to make these repairs. So I had to very quickly kind of pack everything up and move to a new apartment. And it took me quite a few weeks to get settled in the new place, to get myself together, to be able to come back on and film. So I'm really sorry that there has been this lag. I know that I promised this video a really long time ago. Every week between then and now, I moved in the middle of the first week of March. And so those past 3 or 4 weeks or so, every week I have tried to get on and make this video, and it was just always something. You guys know how it is when you move, especially I think when you move without proper planning and kind of time to get everything laid out and together, maybe how you would like it. So that's what I have been doing. But I am here now, and while I am still unpacking, I am mostly settled in my new place. And so I wanted to go ahead and make this video that I have been promising. If you don't know me, my name is Jessie. I previously did respite for special needs kids in New York City. I was laid off in March due to the pandemic. And then in September of 2020, I started doing tutoring for virtual learning and homeschool. I work with 2 families that I previously worked for in person. I have 2 little girls. One is 4 and one is 10. They are in level K primer and grade 4. So without further ado, let's talk about our schedule. I'm mainly going to talk about the schedule for the younger of the 2 kids. The older child is in public school, and she has curriculum and virtual learning that is provided through her school. My job with her is more tutoring in language arts and writing. And while I do occasionally have projects that are independent of her schoolwork for us to work on, primarily what we're doing at this point in the school year is just working on her homework assignments and her writing projects that are assigned by her teacher and by her school together. So I'm not doing a lot of pulling from curriculum anymore. But when I was doing that, I was using the Good and the Beautiful's level 4 and level 5 language arts, as well as the Good and the Beautiful's space science unit, and a few other sort of bits and pieces that I picked up here and there, some of the Confessions of a Homeschooler book study and book studies and things like that. With the younger of the 2 kids, we did pre-K in the fall semester, so September through kind of end of January, end of December, early January, actually. Sorry about that. Let me correct myself. We did pre-K from like the first week of September until about the first week of January. And then we moved on from pre-K to level K primer. Our schedule did also change just a little bit when we did that. We were previously only doing school 4 days a week, and we were doing pre-K language arts every day. And then we were kind of sprinkling in some history and some math and some science with read alouds and unit studies, but there was nothing that was happening on a Friday. Now that we are into Level K Primer, we are doing school 5 days a week. And even so, though, even though we're now doing school an extra day during the week, we're actually doing language arts less. We're only doing language arts 3 of those days. We're starting to incorporate more things, and that's to prepare her for kindergarten and, transitioning back to like an in-person, possibly public school system. She was accepted to a private school for this past year, and that was the way that they were going to go. But then we had the shutdown here, and she wasn't able to go in person. And I don't think they know right now if she's going to still have a spot in the private institution or if she's going to go to public school. I don't think they know. If they do know, we haven't had that conversation yet. But she is, as long as it's safe to do so. And as far as I know right now, she is planning to do like in-person school in the fall. So my goals right now are just to get her kind of ready for that. I'm starting to stretch out our day just a little bit. We were previously only doing about 10 to 15 minutes of work a day, which was pretty age appropriate for where she was. She was a very young 4. She turned 4 in October. So she was actually on the tail end of 3 when we began working on this. For about 7 or 8 weeks, she was still 3 years old. And so in the beginning, it was just like very abbreviated, and we've gradually kind of stretched longer. We've gradually added more things, and that includes some hands-on activities and things like that. So what we're doing right now for Level K Primer is we are doing history and language arts on Monday and Wednesday. And then on Tuesday and Thursday, we are doing science and math. And then on Friday, we're doing poetry, then we're doing handwriting, and then we're doing language arts. So let me go through day by day and kind of break this down a little bit for what it looks like, because that might sound very overwhelming to a lot of people. And I know that The Good and the Beautiful does not recommend that you do science this young. There's no math curriculum for pre-K or level K. We felt like this was really important because we are transitioning back to a school environment for us to begin to incorporate some of these things. So when I say history, or when I say poetry, pretty much here's what that encompasses. Let's just start with Monday. So on Monday, I Zoom her in the morning. Usually that's around 8:30 in the morning, and she's just finishing breakfast. And so when I say history, normally what that looks like for us is she's working on a coloring page. I send those ahead in advance and they print them out. So she's working on a coloring page while I'm just reading storybooks about notable historical figures. We have really focused all throughout the month of like February and into March, all throughout March as well. We have really focused on Black history and women's history, especially Black women. And we have sort of read all kinds of great little books. We have the little legends books. I'll link those below. We also have just some board books. And so I typically will pick a person for each day. I'll read one story if it's a long story, or sometimes even 2 or 3 if the stories are very short. And I'll try to keep it focused on the same person and the achievements of that particular person. And like I said, she's usually finishing up breakfast, and then she'll kind of move in to do a coloring worksheet while I'm reading. So this is a very gentle introduction to history. I'm not giving her dates to memorize. I'm not testing her. She's 4 years old. So we're not doing any of that. It's just me reading about these really remarkable people in history and just introducing her gently, gradually, slowly to the idea that there are people who came before us who did notable things, and that has shaped the course of our lives now in the present. It's a very easy way. So once we've done that, then we move into language arts. We are using the Level K Primer course book, and then we will do the supplement after that. And I just walk her through bit by bit, exactly as it is in the curriculum, all of the language arts pieces. If there's something that she's not getting, she does really well, actually, especially for her age. But if there's something that she's not getting, then I can sort of go back at the end and we can work on that a little bit further. We try to keep this under 30 minutes if we can. So that's the goal for us. I want to get through one language arts lesson every single time. And so that does vary then on how long it takes, but I try really hard to cap it at half an hour. And I try to plan our read alouds in the beginning and our history segment in the beginning based on the length of the lesson. I just preview the lessons in advance. And sometimes we'll do less reading in the beginning so that we have more time at the end to work through the lesson that's in the language arts books. We do that on Monday, and then we repeat exactly that again on Wednesday. When we come to Tuesday, we do science and math. I have previously shown math curriculum in a video. I will also link that one below. We just have a math workbook that I picked up on Amazon. We just try to do one page. And then a lot of the time I have I was going to point to it, but I'm not sitting in front of it. I have like just a little laminated board. It's not a whiteboard, but it looks like primary styled writing lines, and it's just laminated. I think it's actually a placemat. I picked it up in the Target dollar bins. And so sometimes I'll use that and I'll write some basic things on the board. If you have 3 and you take away 2, what does that leave? So we're starting to work a little bit on addition and subtraction and understanding adding to and taking away. But pretty much what we do for math is we just do one of those workbook pages and we talk about those things. We tend to try to focus on like a number per week. Usually in the workbook that we have, it has one page where it's teaching you to write the word form of the number and another page where it's teaching you to write the numerical. So maybe on Tuesday, for example, we'll do the word form. On Thursday, we'll do the numerical. And then we'll talk a little bit about, okay, so our number for today is the number 2. Let's talk about how we can use this number to make other numbers. 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. So just early building blocks of multiplication without it being intimidating. Everything that I do with her, I want to be very gentle. She is a child who is very easily overwhelmed and also generally very resistant to anything that she doesn't want to be doing. So it's gentle. I just try to have a lot of fun with her. I miss seeing her every day. So this has been nice for me, since I can't be there with her in person. It's been nice just to be able to keep up. Now, I will say that I'm not on Zoom with her every day. I assign this work in the beginning of the week, and a lot of the time her parents are the ones. I always meet with her on Mondays, and then usually post to that, her parents will kind of do all of the instructions, so the reading and things like that. It just depends. I mean, I never mind hopping on, so if they need for me to do that on other days, then I also do that. But we're not to the point anymore where I meet with her daily. I will say that. It's always on a Monday. I do my lesson plans for the entire week for both kids on a Wednesday, and then on Thursday, I send over the work for the following week. Now, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I've talked about the math that we do. The science is 2 different things. So again, sometimes that's just reading over breakfast. And so we have done a seasons unit study. We've done a mammals for littles unit study. We're currently doing arthropods for littles. And that actually has like a maze book, a trace book. So usually it's just, she'll have an activity. Last week, literally all that we did was I printed out I sent, and then they printed out like a page of leaves. And then I had some beetle stickers, and she colored the leaves. And then while I was reading, she was sort of decorating that colored page with her beetle stickers. It was really that simple. It's just something to keep little hands busy while I'm reading. Something to give her like a tactile, tangible thing to do to go along with the lesson. And so it can be that simple for science at this age, just reading aloud. Then she does also have a Koala Crate box, and I do come up with some of my own experiments. So usually on Tuesday, it's just a lot of reading and things like that. But on Thursday, we try to make that a hands-on science day. So either we will do an activity from her Koala Crate. I think it comes with 3, and there's like 4 weeks in a month. So we usually make it just about all the way through. So either we will do an activity from the Koala Crate, or I will have sent an activity along, the instructions and materials list for an activity along. And that's how we do science on Thursdays. Then we move into Friday, and on Friday we do poetry, handwriting, and language arts. So I don't want for you to hear poetry and be intimidated. We're not reading Shakespeare. Again, it's the same concept that I have already talked about. While she's finishing breakfast, while we're easing into the school day, I'm just reading aloud, but I'm trying to expose her to different things all the time. So history read alouds, science read alouds, poetry read alouds. What we are doing right now this semester, we are just reading Shel Silverstein. I have Runny Babbitt and Runny Babbitt Returns. I love Shel Silverstein, and she thinks that he's really funny, and which I do too. And so it's a nice like start to the day. Gets everybody laughing, everybody awake. It's just a nice kind of little icebreaker. So I just read aloud from one of these 2 books. And I have actually up there, which you can't see, sort of a collection by this author. So if these stop being as entertaining, I do have like The Light in the Attic and Where the Sidewalk Ends, but we're really enjoying these so far, and they really focus on this character. So it's kind of starting to feel like a friend, right? So we're kind of doing this familiar reading all the time on Fridays. We were using The Good and the Beautiful's handwriting. We're just done with that now. So we're just using some like printed handwriting worksheets that I found online for free. We had debated and may still do Confessions of a Homeschooler's handwriting program, but we have not purchased that yet. It's working fine for us just to use free printables for right now. This is pretty much just reinforcing the handwriting curriculum that we used before. I know a lot of people, when they finish the PreK handwriting, which is actually doodles and pre-writing for littles, I know a lot of people, when they finish that, they go right into level K. I wasn't ready to do that yet. So we've just been using, like I said, free printables. We've also been using like Water Wow books. We have some Melissa and Doug books that are the alphabet, so she can paint the letters. And handwriting, like everything else that we do, is very gentle and low pressure. We have not yet tried tracing in sand, only because I feel like that would just make such an extraordinary mess. And she does have a baby brother who's like just becoming mobile. So I'm not sure that I want like sand all over the floor. So we haven't done that yet, but that's another great idea, is you can sort of put sand in a tray, let them trace the letters with their fingers in the sand. That's also a possibility, something that we might try in the future. And then on Friday, that's our 3rd day of language arts for the week. And again, we want to get through a full lesson. Fridays tend to take just the tiniest bit longer because we do kind of squeeze handwriting in there, but not extraordinarily longer. And because of the way that we're doing handwriting now, to be honest, sometimes she's working on handwriting while I'm reading from our poetry books. So I hope this helps somebody. I know, like I said, I've seen a lot of questions about, what's your schedule? How many days a week should I be doing language arts? How many days a week should I be doing homeschool for this age? Just to cap it up quickly, we try to keep it under 30 minutes for our 4.5-year-old. And we do 3 days of language arts. And then we sprinkle in some science, math, and history throughout the week. We don't do handwriting more than 1 day a week, because there is a lot of handwriting in our math and also handwriting in our science and our language arts. So I just don't feel like that we need to give dedicated time every single day to handwriting practice. We're incorporating that now into our learning. It's a part of all of the things that we do, with the exception of maybe history. But that's still, like I said, she's coloring usually while I'm reading. So that's still things like properly holding the crayon, pen control, right? So handwriting is really incorporated into everything that we're doing. And therefore, I just don't see the point of kind of sitting down and making her draw letters every single day. So I hope this was helpful, like I said, to someone. And I'm so sorry again for my unscheduled, unplanned absence. But I do hope to be getting videos out on a weekly basis again. There may come a point in the near future that I need to change the day of my upload. And if that becomes necessary, then I will put a poll in the community tab asking if there is a day that works better for folks. Right now, I would like to keep it on Sunday afternoons if I can. I really liked the idea of having uploads on Sunday because it was sort of like a jump into the new week. And I sort of share a lot like what we're going to be doing week by week, what we're going to be doing in science or math, or what unit studies we're going to be covering. And so I felt like it made a lot of sense to do that right at the start of the week. And I would like to keep it on this day. It's becoming more and more challenging to figure out how to film and upload on Sundays. So I might have to tweak that around. But as of right now, my plan is to see you next Sunday. I have quite a few things that I've kind of been pushing to the side that I need to film and get uploaded. So thank you so much for watching and have a great week. See you soon. Bye-bye.